What's up, guys? It's Alex from Maximum Charge. Welcome back to the channel, and if you are new here, welcome. Today we are on the GOAT bike, the OG MG V3, Motor GOAT V3, totally kitted out. 100 amp 7-ton controller with Statorade in the motor, 75 amp hours of 17S battery. The big frame battery has Samsung cells made by Kevin from Northeast Battery Systems. Link in the description if you guys want to check that out. He can make a bunch of different batteries for you for a bunch of different bikes. But today we're just gonna be riding around a bit. I wanna get out here and enjoy the bike and test out the lighting kit from Spark Cycle Works. They threw on an awesome 12-volt lighting kit on this bike with a gigantic, super bright front headlight, a really nice flashing rear light that flashes when you initially brake and then turns solid red. I love that it works that way. And turn signals, very bright turn signals, and a pretty loud horn. Link in the description for the video I did when I brought this bike over to the guys over at Spark Cycle Works, and Matt, the owner of Spark, he installed this for me as I stood back and pretended to help, just so it looked good on camera, but really he did all the work. And by the way, Spark makes some awesome bikes, two to be specific. First is the Javelin, which excels in stuff like this, just cruising around on the road. It's almost like a mini motorcycle commuter. And the Brute, which is more of the like workhorse e-bike that they have with pedals. Both of those bikes do go over 50 miles an hour, and they have a ton of power. Definitely check those out. I will leave links to videos on those bikes again in the right-hand corner of the screen. Turn signal. And I'll leave links to those bikes in the description below. Yeah, buddy. Currently it is about 50 degrees. New England is starting to warm up ever so slowly. And I do want to do another top speed run on this bike when it is nice and hot to check if it can easily hit 50 miles an hour without field weakening. But if it can't, it's really not a big deal, because what I really care about is this, the starting torque. Which, if you guys notice, jeez, we just got to 40 like it was nothing. By the way, I did do a cold weather range test with this bike, and we easily hit 50 miles, flying around everywhere at 40 miles an hour, and we still had plenty of battery life left, maybe like 30%. So the fact that there was so much battery life left, and I did 50 miles, and it was in the cold weather, made me realize that this bike has almost too much range. So what I want to do is first replace this 100 amp controller with a 150 amp controller. Two reasons. Number one, it'll extract more power from the batteries. 150 amps at full charge for this bike will give us 10,000 watts. Yeah, buddy. Bringing this GOAT to the 10K club. Secondly is because an oversight of mine when buying the current controller that this bike has is that it doesn't have a motor temperature sensor wire. This motor, the GOAT motor, the stock GOAT motor, actually has a little white wire which is hooked up to a temperature sensor in the motor. But the controller doesn't have it, so I can't see the temperature of the motor. So what I first want to do is get that new controller, and I'd like to see what the temps are in the summer when I'm using the stock motor, pushing whatever power I'm pushing. More than likely they will be getting too high for my liking with the power that I'm going to be pushing. So next what I'm looking to do is install a 3 or 3.5 T winding larger motor that can handle more power. And since it'll be a lower T level, it will spin faster than this motor. What that means is I will get more top speed. We'll easily be hitting a top end of 55 to 60 miles an hour. And hopefully with the extra current that I'll be pushing into the motor, so the extra 50 amps, I'll still have decent low end torque. Even if it's a little bit less than this right now, I am okay with that because this has plenty of low end torque, plenty. I can accelerate faster than I want to accelerate from a standstill. So let's see how that goes. All right, get our turn signal on. The only thing I wish this turn signal kit had was an indicator of when the turn signals are on. I can slightly see the turn signal from the front that it's on, which is okay, but I really wish there were a signal showing me if the turn signal was actually on, because right now I almost forgot it. And you don't want to have a senior moment just riding around with your turn signal on And people are gonna be like, what the heck is this guy doing? Is he turning or not turning? What's his plan? Oh, I should have left my bar end mirror. I took it off by accident. Dang it. I get a bunch of e-bikes in, and I sometimes take out parts from bikes that I'm not currently riding and put it on bikes that I'm testing, and I forget to put them back on. Oh well. Have to end up buying like 5 or 10 of those mirrors. Let me know how this jacket looks from the back. What do you guys think? I think it looks pretty sick. Turn signal. This bike feels so smooth. It's so quiet. No motor noise whatsoever. All I hear is the wind. And I'm sure you guys can hear it too. All right, we're gonna see, I had my turn signal on. We're gonna pull over for a second and switch out the camera angle. Oh, and by the way, I did also install this new kickstand from Kemimoto. This thing is awesome. I always thought that the bracket that the bike frame comes with, where the kickstand mounts in, is kind of thin and it would bend sometimes. And this wraps around the entire frame and clamps down. Super thick kickstand. This thing is awesome. I'll leave a link to this in the description below. Right now I'm just testing it out, that's why it's here. But what I'll probably do is cut this bracket off and then move this kickstand back here and we'll be Gucci. Nice. Moving on. Look at this torque, see that? Plenty of torque. And I love that I have a regen in this bike. I have a tiny bit for coasting and a lot more for when I brake. And besides giving me a tiny bit of power back into the batteries, which, believe it or not, it's actually negligible, it does help me also stop better. So in conjunction with the two brakes, the front and the back brake, the motor is actually helping brake the bike also. So it helps the brakes stay cooler, which means they work better. And which means my pads will last longer. Hey, this guy is flying. Turn signal. And we're off. See, if I didn't remember my turn signal was on, I would have just left it. I don't think I've pedaled once so far. Why don't we pedal just a tiny bit? Because this is an e-bike channel, after all. Just kidding, you don't have to pedal. So I was just, I don't know if you guys just saw, I'm riding this bike, right? And I just shifted to the right. That wasn't me, that was the wind. And that's one downside about having a lightweight bike like this, is that the wind will actually influence your bike. Motorcycles are nice and heavy, so they are more planted down on the roads, and this thing, being under 150 pounds, one strong gust of wind, and it will move your bike ever so slightly. So, kind of threw me off there for a second. Regen. What's nice is I can just turn the brake lever on just a tiny bit to turn the regen on and virtually not even have to use my actual brake. So we're braking just using a regen. Having a powerful bike definitely gives you confidence to be on the main roads because you don't feel like you're a slow-moving obstacle. Versus if you had a weaker bike, you're a slow-moving obstacle, which in some cases is worse than a stationary obstacle because people have to do more calculations now in their mind of how they're gonna pass you. They have to give themselves more space and more time to pass you. And sometimes that could lead to disaster. It is a windy. Windy. Switching up the camera angle, there it is. Boom, turn signal. Look at that, hopefully you guys can see it better. And we're off. Turn the turn signal off. Gotta remind myself every time. This helmet is great. Obviously it's a motorcycle helmet. It's more protective than a bicycle helmet. The one downside is that when I have the visor down, man, the audio quality is terrible. Like right now, everything is booming inside of my helmet, and I'm sure the microphone is picking that up too. And it sounds so muffled. It's so hard to get good sound with a closed visor helmet. I'm messing around with a lot of different microphone setups right now to try and make it better, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes, guys. For now, we can open it up a bit, at least keep it halfway open, just for eye protection. A lot of these cars, they end up kicking up little rocks, and you don't want one of those rocks to go right into your eyeball. So the visor comes in handy. The visor is also awesome to keep your face warm. Right now it's warming up, so you don't really need it that much, but during some of my winter riding that you guys saw, wow, my face would probably be an icicle if I didn't have the visor. So yeah, right now I'm hitting speeds of about 45 miles an hour on average. And hopefully in the summertime when it's hotter, I can get to 50. But I really want to just be able to hit 50 regularly and effortlessly in whatever temperature I'm in. So the motor upgrade and the controller upgrade, I'm definitely looking forward to. If I had the field weakening on, I could definitely hit 50 today, but it's pretty stressful on that tiny little motor. The stock motor is only 2,000 watt nominal, and I don't want to get stranded by pushing too much power into it just for an extra 5 miles an hour of top end speed. I'm also out here with the intention of recording part 3 of my battery talk, where I talk about the quality of cells that are advertised in these e-bikes these days, especially the cheaper ones. If that video is up, be on the lookout for that video because I will be recording it while riding today. And that video is very important because, man, some of these e-bikes, they, let's just say they do not have what they advertise to have by a lot. Turn signal, turning left. Officially turning left. Pulling 7,500 watts going up this hill. No sweat. Flying right up the hill. Who says direct drive motors don't have torque? They have torque, but only once you get them going. Direct drive motors are great for on-road purposes. So for example, the Spark Cycle Works bikes, those are on-road bikes. If you did off-road them, at most it would be on like a fire road or something, like a gravel road, dirt road, because the unsprung weight of a heavy hub motor is crazy. But for stuff like this, riding around the road, totally fine. Turn signal, boom. And we're stopping at the stop sign. Wow. Here we go. Car behind me is like, why did you stop? Nobody stops. It's for the commenters, I'm sorry. They are closely watching my every move. Turn signal. Turning off the turn signal, I gotta remember to do that. All right, took a little pit stop at my parents' house. Always visit your parents whenever you can. You will not regret it later in life. Currently, I am on the rail trail because I recorded a longer talking video and I can't be doing that while I'm going 40 plus miles an hour. I'd rather focus on the road, especially because I was looking at my screen reading off of a script. So we're back, we're on the rail trail, and what I like about this bike is that it has pedals. And it has pedal assist, and I did that on purpose for 2 reasons. Number one, I can do this, I can pedal, I have functioning pedals. This bike is super quiet. I can't take it on rail trails. We're going 10, 13 miles an hour right now, being respectful. Nobody has said anything bad to me whatsoever. But at the same time, I can open her up and go 45 plus miles an hour. Number 2 reason why I got the pedal assist working is because if for whatever reason this throttle stops working, I can still use my e-bike. Let's say, for example, you fall, your bike falls over, the throttle breaks, whatever happens. Maybe the throttle internally, electronically breaks. At least I have my pedal assist sensor, so I can still get power from the bike. This bike is so quiet, I cannot get over it. It's so silent. These direct drive hub motors with the right controller, oh, they are whisper quiet. It's incredible. I would think that if the military wanted to make some kind of e-bike, I would really consider them to think about hub motors. I know they kind of suck for off-roading, but they're so quiet. Like, nobody's gonna hear this thing. It's crazy. So if the Navy SEALs had some kind of e-bike squad, sign me up. Where do I sign? All right, so we are getting off of the rail trail now, and we're gonna hop back on the road. See this? You can only do this with an e-bike. You can't do it with a motorcycle. Everyone's like, oh, you should just get a motorcycle. You cannot do what I just did with a motorcycle. Well, I guess you could, but you'd probably get the cops called on you real quick if you got a big loud motorcycle on a walking path on a rail trail. Let's wait for all these cars. Close my visor a bit because it is getting chilly. Man, this is a huge line of cars. I should have went. We'll just be here all day.
A few moments later. 1 hour later.
Boy.
1 eternity later.
All right, the one last truck. Here we go. Pedal assist 5 so we can get full power. Oh yeah. But this whole ride, round trip, is about maybe like 30 or so miles. And I'm just pretty much doing throttle only the whole time. And I bet that when I get back home, this bike will still be pretty close to full charge. This thing just has so much battery capacity, it's almost too much. So once again, I would love it if we can get some more power out of this bike and use up that battery a bit faster. I just finished the big review of the E-Cells Monstar. That bike is insane. You guys are gonna see more content on that bike, but I really wish I had a little bit more greenery in my area. It almost was an injustice to do that review during this time of the year when all the trees are kind of just still dead. Another month or two, I would have had a much better looking backdrop, but here we are. What are you gonna do, guys? The challenges of an e-bike YouTuber. Turn signal, we're going right, and here we go. It is chilly, getting chilly. Gotta close my visor. Hopefully the sound is okay. I'm gonna try my best to stay quiet. Sometimes when I'm going fast, I have the tendency to scream into the microphone. I don't know why. Maybe I just get excited. So I'll be extra quiet so there's good sound in the microphone. Turn signal left, stopping at the stop sign. Here we go. Turn off the turn signal. Gotta remember. Another reason to get a little bit more power out of this bike is that when the battery voltage does go down, obviously your top speed will go down as well. And as this battery slowly drains, we are getting closer and closer to a low 40s top speed instead of mid to high 40s. So if I do have more power coming out of the batteries, we should stay in the 40-mile-an-hour top speed more easily and more often, even at a lower battery charge, especially with that lower T motor. These brakes work great. With the regen, spoke too soon, now something's scraping up there. I gotta do some adjustments to the front brake. Turn signal. Let me know how these turn signals look on camera. Here we go. Turn signal right. I am so happy I got this lighting kit. I know the headlight is big, everyone can see it, nice and bright. Turn signals. I do want to get one of those little moped license plates, just because. Whatever helps me not get this bike impounded, I'll take it. It does have the pedals, but if I can get as many road legal things on it as possible, a couple of mirrors, I've got the lighting, every little bit will help. Although I've talked to a lot of police officers, and none of them really care about this kind of stuff, especially if you pedal. It seems to only be a certain few people in comment sections that think that a 750 watt bike is fine, but if they ever see you go 20.1 miles an hour with throttle, you are immediately a criminal. You should get deported to Guantanamo Bay. Or if your bike peaks 1 watt over 750, that's it, straight to jail. You're illegal and you're a bad person, and you should be shamed for it in the comments. I used to have some commenters like that, and I think they just kind of gave up because this channel, for the most part, is about higher speed e-bikes, and so I think they just went ahead and started watching other channels. So that's it for today's video, guys. Not much to talk about. I just kind of want to ride around and show you the lighting kit from Spark Cycle Works, along with the sweet jacket that they have, the Amped Rides jacket. I think they have some kind of like special program that you can sign up for to get patches for the jacket and everything. You feel like you're part of an e-bike gang. And I also wanted to talk a little bit about updates to this bike and what we're gonna do to this bike. And that's it for today, folks. Until next time.